performance starts with the passion to have a purpose. And I am extremely excited to be kicking off what is the Beyond the Cleats podcast. It is one of those things where you think about, and it's truly kind of hit home for me in terms of how do we bridge the gap between our athletic experiences and our professional lives, our academic lives. As athletes, we are incredibly complex creatures. So I'm extremely excited. My name is Mina to kind of introduce myself to you guys. I was fortunate enough to play softball at DePaul University out in Indiana. And then I traveled all the way to the East Coast and I played softball for Plymouth State University. That's where I finished my career. And then now I am a research human physiology. It's a mouthful, guys. Human physiology research fellow at the Department of the Army. So I'm a contractor and I get to help the men and women in service. So I can't be more excited and more happy. So what is Beyond the Cleats? For me, it stemmed from just different life experiences that we experience both on the field and off the field. And I mean, as an athlete, we really didn't have like an outlet, would you say, of kind of a place to express kind of our thoughts and feelings and such. And I'm extremely excited to introduce Miss Ailaina Keeley, who not only is she a phenomenal athlete and a phenomenal leader, but an incredible person. So I'm going to have her introduce herself to the podcast as my co-host.
Well, that was an extremely kind introduction. I feel like really honored you did not have to do that.
Oh, I speak the truth. I speak the truth and only the truth.
No, I'm so grateful to be here, honestly, and for this opportunity. I'd like to thank you for that. Like, endlessly, I think this platform is something that not only will be like beneficial to like you and I, but also like other people, and the outreach that we could potentially have is something that just like really inspires me and gives me like passion, I guess, for like what we're doing. I guess I'll give a little introduction of myself. So I've played sports, I think, since like I could like crawl. I don't know about you, but like,
oh yeah, every sport under the sun.
Anything.
Like anything that had a ball or a bat.
Not even a ball or a bat. I would jump out of trees. Like I was one of those kids.
You were one of those jungle gym kids.
Yeah, 100%. Like parkour all the way. Like so, like identifying myself as an athlete is like not hard. Yeah, exactly. Is not like hard, and it's something that's like carried on, I guess, through.
Well, it's like a part of your whole identity.
100%.
Which we'll get into, guys.
Definitely, yeah. We have more to talk about that for sure. But yeah, so soccer became quickly like one of my favorites, and I have played at a lot of different levels of universities. I've played at 3 different institutions. I started out at Franklin Pierce, and then I transitioned to LaSalle University, and then I ended my career at UMass Boston. All 3 had different experiences and, you know, lots of things we can obviously talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I think you and I both have a very unique experience, at least from the collegiate athletics perspective, because we experience different coaches, different cultures. I know me transferring from DePaul to Plymouth was a complete culture shock, not only from just the team culture, but the different coaching styles. So
yeah, 100%.
I'm excited to definitely dive into that for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I know we'll talk about all that stuff and the transitions between different institutions and all tons of things to come. But so then I guess it kind of leads into I joined the Air Force halfway through my college career. So I do that now. I'm still in the Air Force. And then I also coach collegiate soccer at Leslie University, which I am like over the moon.
I was going to say, how's that going? It's
over
super
the moon,
exciting.
Grateful. It's so, oh my gosh, I don't know if there's something that's like gives me more passion in my life. Maybe this podcast could be that thing because I'm super passionate about this as well and our ideas and our inspirations moving forward. But there's nothing like coaching. And I think I was a little skeptical because of being an athlete and like not wanting to like redefine the athletic definition, I guess. Like, could you, like, redefining that, right? Like, that's what it would be.
Yeah, I would say, yeah.
And I was, like, anxious about it moving forward, but it's something that, like, my day-to-day job, like, doesn't compare to going and coaching. Like, there's just no...
100%. It's a different... and I bet that having... Because it's a little bit of a different perspective between an athlete to coach.
100%.
There's a little bit of a switch there.
Yeah.
Which
Definitely.
you get totally different perspective. Like, first you were in the team culture, now you are creating the team culture.
And it makes a huge difference.
we could say that the same for athletes. I guess we are all part of the team culture, but I feel like coaches,
they're the leaders, I think. Like, they're the ones that have to facilitate that team morale, that team environment where you either, you know, ride or die, or you kind of like burn down. And that's the difference between a successful team and, you know, the ones that, or a good team from a great team. That's, I think, what
100%
differentiates that. And it's super important. I'm grateful and humble to be a part of it, you know.
Yeah, and I think that's what I'm also very excited to get into and talk about is how do you deal with different team cultures, and that's kind of where this whole podcast stemmed from. Is we had our, like, you look at your pro athletes, you look at like your big coaches, and we have our peers, we have our own coaches, we have our parents, you know, if you're fortunate enough to kind of go to and talked about these things, from anything from, you know, maybe you're dealing something on the mental health side of things, maybe you don't want to go talk to your coach about that, or, you know, just team drama. It's like there's no, like, simple thing is that time management, and there's
so many different complexities and parallels in sports that are just not talked about. And I think that's something that we want to dive deep into, the human existence and, like, the experience of an athlete and how it translates to our day-to-day lives, right? Like, that's kind of like
100%,
what we're trying to get across the board here.
Oh yeah, because there's so many parallels but between the two, and I think the goal for this podcast, and hopefully that you guys get from us, is we want to make this as welcoming and inclusive as possible. We want you guys to be a part of this podcast. We can sit here and we can chat about our experiences and our stories and our struggles, but at the end of the day, we want to hear your stories. We want to hear from you guys. So follow us on TikTok, follow us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram. We want to hear from you. DM us. We want to know what you guys want to hear, what you guys are struggling with, because at the end of the day, that's what I wanted. I wanted
the conversation, right? Like,
I wanted to have those conversations that, like, were just relatable. Even if, because I find even just hearing it, maybe not even being in the conversation, but hearing
that other people are having them. Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh, I went through that. Or, oh, that's a good way of dealing with that. Like, one thing is, like, how do you talk to your coach about a certain situation or about, you know, anything? How do you communicate? What are some communication styles?
Yeah.
You know, I could say it was hard. It was hard to, there's no playbook.
Yeah.
So we want to kind of go beyond behind the guidelines. We have this in our studio. We have this we have like our little outline, and if you know Pirates of the Caribbean, where the code is more like guidelines than actual rules.
That's what I was in reference to. We'll let you in on the little
secret. But yeah, we are I'm very excited, and I'm very fortunate. What is one topic you're excited for? We'll leave it off with that. What is one topic, Ailaina, that you're excited to talk about?
I don't even think I can pick one topic I'm more passionate about than the other. I think that I'm excited for the ability to sit here and just chat with you and other people about their experiences and, like, different perspectives. And I think that's probably what I'm more excited about, is, like, the perspective of
100%.
And, like, understanding that my role is going to be vastly different from yours in the next. And then, you know, like, it will help me not only for myself, but also, like, for my athletes, and then also in the working realm. Like, it's everything that we're trying to accomplish, I'm excited about. There's not one part of our cycle or in our theory, in our, like, mentality and our mantra that I'm, like, Oh, that one's not
It's all
gonna be. You
exciting.
know what I mean? And I feel like that's why it's good because we just have
Because
so much passion.
there's such a vast expansion.
Yeah.
Like you can talk about serious topics such as like mental health or inclusivity,
Yeah.
or you can talk about anything from time management to I'm trying to blank. What's another good one?
Tips, tricks, and anything for
Yeah.
like moving forward in life, like and how we navigate our lives and how other people navigate their lives, coming off of having one identity of being an athlete and now transitioning into the working world. There's so many things that
Which we're talking about next.
Yeah, sorry I had to lead it in a little bit. I had to throw that out there. So stay tuned. I'll stop talking because we do have a whole outline for that.
Yeah, I will say that I'm excited for the folks we're gonna have on this podcast, from our former teammates to former coaches, different notable coaches, some sports scientists in the community. So we definitely got a slew of topics and a slew of people. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll check you next time at Beyond the Cleats.